Okay, I see that some of the participants have joined, and I believe that the others will join in the meantime. But since it's 9:15, I suggest that we respect our today's agenda. And since it's the mid of the week and we all have our obligations, I suggest that we start now with the official part of the today's Smart Specialization workshop. So good morning, everyone. I'm Borna Buljan, and I'm glad that I have the opportunity to greet you all in behalf of the University of Zadar team. As you already know, we have gathered today to participate in the third and final Smart Specialization workshop that has been organized within the Take It Slow project. So as I mentioned, this is the final workshop. So today we're going to wrap up and conclude our 3 workshops series. I believe that a fair number of our today's attendees have already participated in previous 2 editions of our Smart Specialization workshops. And during these workshops, we have tried to target some of the key stakeholders in the tourism value chain on a level of micro destination as a stepping stone for the implementation of creativity, innovation, and knowledge. These key stakeholders in tourism value chain encompass wide variety of a different final beneficiaries, such as travel agencies, providers of accommodation, NGOs, local authorities, the ones employed in gastronomy and hospitality, etc. However, before we start, let me present you with our today's agenda and tell you something more about the aims of the Smart Specialization workshop series. So during these past 2 months, our aim was to enable key stakeholders to be engine of innovation and knowledge-based competitiveness, to actively participate in decision-making process, and to strengthen collaboration with all organizations involved in destination management. Hopefully, after today's session, we will be able to state that through these educational and practical events, actors in tourism and related and supporting industries have been familiarized with the concept of smart specialization and the importance of innovation in everyday business operations. So I've already mentioned a few times our today's agenda. Within this opening session, some of the project activities will be shortly addressed by Ms. Mirela Raic, representative of the lead partner at the Take It Slow project, and that is Dubrovnik-Neretva County. Then our technical project manager, Ms. Katarina Kokic from University of Zadar, will explain you a bit more in detail some technical issues such as fulfillment of registration list, then using the Q&A functionality of Zoom meeting, etc. Also, I'm very glad that I have the opportunity to announce our today's 2 speakers, Ms. Ana Odvitovic from Innovative Zadar and Mr. Ivan Iliasic, CEO and founder of Orioli. I rest assured that they're going to give us some food for thought and that they're going to present us with some interesting projects and endeavors they've been engaged in throughout their respective careers, and out of which for sure we can use and get some valuable insight that could help us to modify our future efforts smart, sustainable, and green-wise. But before we start, I need to emphasize that this event is being recorded for the purposes of the Take It Slow project, and the recording will be available on our official YouTube channel, on the official YouTube channel of Take It Slow project. Also, registration is necessary for our project documentation, so please fill out the online registration form, and all the questions that you may have during our workshop you can ask within the Q&A functionality of Zoom meeting. But these are all some technical issues that will be addressed more in depth soon by my colleague, Ms. Katarina Kokic. Since I've mentioned our official YouTube channel, I want to take the opportunity and to ask all of our attendees and participants to help us spread and facilitate the reach of our project's activities, and to follow us and the Take It Slow project on our official accounts of the social networks on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and of course on the official website. Also, in case that you have some additional answers you need to be answered, if you have some questions, please feel free to contact our technical project manager, Ms. Katarina Kokic. So now I invite Ms. Mirela Rajc from Dubrovnik-Neretva County to shortly greet our today's attendees and tell us something about the project activities. Ms. Mirela, please.
Sure. So thank you, Borna. Can you just confirm if you can hear me well?
Yes.
So good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you as well to the third Smart Specialization workshop on behalf of Take It Slow lead partner, Dubrovnik-Neretva region. Huge thank you goes to, of course, University of Zadar for organizing the workshop so well. To introduce myself, to those of you I haven't met yet, I work at the regional agency DUNEA on this interesting project, mostly bringing my international experience from the private touristic sector, as well as some expertise in strategic marketing. So Take It Slow project is all about capitalizing on the cultural and natural heritage of Adriatic region and creating a new slow tourism offering through smart specialization concepts. So I know today we will hear about innovation, challenges, and opportunities in that space. So I'm really looking forward to the speakers. And without further ado, I wish you all an enjoyable session today.
Katarina, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, I forgot. Thank you. So thank you, Mirela. As Bona before mentioned, my name is Katarina Kokic. I'm the technical project manager on the Take It Slow project. And I would like to greet you all once again in the name of the University of Zadar. I will just going to give you a couple of information regarding the technical aspects of the way this workshop is going to be held. So please write all of your questions, greetings, or comments in the Q&A segment, which can be found on the bottom of your screens, marked as Q&A. There we are going to find all of your questions and comments that we're going to discuss later in the Q&A session. In the chat, we are going to write all of the important notifications. We're going to post all of the important links, as well as the attendee sheet, which is going to be posted in a couple of minutes. I would just like to highlight that we encourage all the participation of our attendees. Please don't be shy to ask any questions or comment anything. We are here to all learn furthermore about the smart specialization in smart, slow, and sustainable tourism. Once again, I greet you all, and I hope you'll enjoy the workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, Katarina. So now we can start with the more interesting part of our today's workshop. So as I said, our first speaker today is Ms. Ana Odvitovic. She's currently employed as the head of the entrepreneurship support sector in Innovative Zadar, which was founded by the city of Zadar in 2003 as a business incubator. Ms. Odvitovic is an expert with many years of experience in supporting entrepreneurship, developing entrepreneurial support infrastructure, and implementing projects related to the development and promotion of entrepreneurship, co-working concepts, and the development of startup community in Zadar. Today, Ms. Odvitovic will take the opportunity and familiarize us with some of the advancements within the project Zoom 4.0, Zadar Urban Mobility, which provides smart mobility solutions for citizens and tourists. We all should bear in mind that the transport, i.e. traffic, is an integral part of the complex system of tourism. So in this sense, the introduction of new digital services within traffic at rest and public transportation as part of the intelligent transport system is of utmost importance, since it enables improvement of the living conditions of our fellow citizens, but also the tourists. So, Ms. Advitovic, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Borna, and thank you for presenting me and my company. I would like to greet all the participants and hosts also, and thank you for having me here and for the opportunity to present smart solutions that will hopefully make Zadar a more attractive tourist destination. Now, I'm going to share my screen, and I would just like you to confirm that you can see my presentation and that you can hear me.
Yes, we can see and we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, as Borna stated earlier, I'm an employee at Innovative Zadar Ltd, a public company 100% owned by the city of Zadar. We are registered and have been active since 2003 in the area of promotion and development of entrepreneurship. But since 2015, with dramatic development of technology and public administration digitalization, the company has transformed. You can see two branches that have become since then, meaning we are active in two sectors. One sector is business support, innovation support, and the other one is ICT development for public sector of the local government of city of Zadar, which means that Innovative Zadar is a system integrator for all activities and projects in the ICT field for the needs of city administration and its utility companies and institutions. Now, why Innovative Zadar? We changed the company name to emphasize the goal that the city administration is trying to reach. We want Zadar to be a city of innovation, a city of smart and sustainable development. And in that context, our work within the ICT sector is to support other ICT entrepreneurs, but also to help public sector, local administration to be more digitalized, more transparent, and more and faster in resolving the needs of citizens, entrepreneurs, but also our visitors. So in that context, our ultimate goal is Zadar as a smart city. Now, smart city, as we probably know, is a tool for collecting various data via electronic Internet of Things sensors to provide information for better, more efficient city property management. Within smart city segments, mobility might be the largest segment since it addresses all citizens and visitors, tourists. It uses, in terms of technology, it uses cloud-based services, Internet of Things, real-time sensors, smart cards, smartphones as basic communication interface. So all of the stuff that we as smartphone application users are using on daily basis, but the infrastructure, the ICT infrastructure behind it is something we don't see, something that is very, very important to create and develop such smart services. It is also a concept of open and transparent data, which is crucial not only for business, because we all know that today data is considered most valuable resource, but also it's very important for citizens and private sector to have faith in local administration, to create some sort of connection. So everyone has some kind of benefit from all the data that is collected via smart city technology. It will also enable development of new applications, new services, and encourage the development of new businesses as well. Here is something that I stated, which I find quite important for City of Zadar. Now, City of Zadar is somewhat specific in comparison to other cities, because we are building digital Zadar, smart Zadar, on public ICT infrastructure. It means that we have already built over 70 kilometers of public optical network that connects over 100 city locations, mainly city administration, its institutions, utility companies, schools, server rooms, Wi-Fi and IoT access points, surveillance systems, and so on. Now, why is this important? Usually, city administrations are relying on this infrastructures provided by commercial telecom operators. In this segment, Zadar is specific because it's independent. It has its own infrastructure, and it enables the city administration to independently develop new digital services and new smart city solutions. Within smart city concept, I'm going to emphasize some of these services, such as public free Wi-Fi network, which consists of a large network of Wi-Fi hotspots that are free to use all over the city area, also on islands within a city area, but also in public transport, because we equipped some of the public transport buses with free Wi-Fi hotspots. Another segment of smart city solutions in Zadar is Internet of Things network, which covers water consumption sensors, public city lighting, environment sensors in terms of noise, quality of air, and such things, allergens, and things like that that can be measured. Internet of Things platform and network is already active, and we're piloting certain areas with sensors. It is not completely finished, but it is quickly developing, and we're hoping that in a very short time we will have some financial programs that might support these kind of actions. Just as European funded project has supported public transport and parking smart city solutions within the project Zadar Urban Mobility 4.0, which I'm going to present in details in my further slides. Now, I'm going to quickly present the project background, main objectives, and then solutions that will be implemented within public transportation, parking, the application as an interface for communication. And finally, I'm going to give a conclusion that you might think about, and maybe if necessary, ask some questions or ask for deeper information. So how did we start to design project Zadar Urban Mobility? Back in 2018, the city of Zadar provided analysis within master plan of traffic sustainability of the Zadar urban area. Detailed analysis detected certain key problems, which are insufficient use of public transportation services, insufficient information and promotion of the public transportation system, inefficient parking and public transportation management, and lack of motivation of the population, but also tourists, to use public transportation services. And we all know that public transportation is vital to relieve the road traffic, to reduce CO2 emission. So having detected these key problems, we realized that we need to promote our public transportation, to modernize it, to make service more accessible, both to citizens as well to visitors. And then we set our project objectives. So our main project objective is to increase the share of public transport and other alternative forms of transport in traffic system, and to relieve road traffic in Zadar urban area. We were going to reach that general goal by reaching some specific objectives, such as promotion of public, providing central city sales service system, and by making city services more accessible to everyone. So bearing those objectives and goals in mind, we designed a project that consists of 5 project elements, 5 main activities. First one is electronic billing in public transportation. The idea was to make it easier for citizens, but mostly for the visitors, to use the public transportation. When you visit a foreign city, it is not always easy to find a spot that sells tickets for public transportation. It is not always easy to find information on relevant lines, bus lines, or timetables. So we decided to provide electronic billing in public transportation, but also to develop monitoring and information system in public transportation. For all those that are visiting Zadar by their own car, we decided to develop another element of the project, which is smart parking system. I will tell more about it later. In order to have efficient interface to use all these elements, we decided to create a web and mobile application for the users to use digital services provided. And all of that is somehow linked to the central information system, which is basically the core and the spine of the whole project. It is a complex system of servers and softwares, which I will also tell more about later. and it enables the whole system to be linked and to provide one-stop shop for digital services for all the users. Now, within public transportation, as I stated earlier, we are going to provide electronic billing of travel tickets, which will be available not only through cards, physical cards, but also by cell phone. As far as we know, we will be the first city to register passengers by cell phone, which we really insisted on that solution because we realized it is most convenient for everyone, because everyone wears a cell phone today. So choose physical tickets or cards, or excuse me, I have noticed that my internet connection is on. Okay, I'm going to continue. Also, to provide accurate and in-time information for the passengers, we'll be introducing digital screens with vehicle announcements on bus stations. So passengers will know which bus is coming, when it is coming, and if there are any delays on the line. Free Wi-Fi will be provided in vehicles. It already is provided in some of the vehicles, but we're going to cover further number of public buses. After the project is finished, we will ensure continuous development of new functionalities within public transportation. So we have certain expected results within this activity, meaning that at least 40, and most probably it will be 50 public transport buses in the urban area will be equipped with the electronic billing system. And 19 bus stations will be equipped with info screens for informing passengers in public transport, making it easier for everyone to know which lines are available, when the bus is coming, if there are any delays. So when you come as a visitor and want to use public transportation, you will have a much easier access to the service than it is now. Another element, as I stated earlier, is parking. This is quite interesting element of the project, because we all know during peaks in tourist season, the city, mainly its center, is crowded with cars looking for parking space. Now, these smart free parking spaces via sensors, meaning via information collected through smart sensors, that will give the user of the parking application information on free parking space. So the user can quickly find a free parking space. It has optimized routes to that parking space, so the traffic is reduced by 30%. The data, and also new payment method by card for tourists will be introduced. Also, this system will reduce the costs of control of parking payment for the utility company that provides this service, because data will be collected through central information system, and the employees of utility company will have information on the car that is using a certain parking space, and if the service has been paid. So 1,000 public parking spaces will be covered with this smart parking system with the sensors. And also a navigation and payment mobile application will be developed. So everyone can use its smartphone to find free parking spot and to pay for parking service. Central information system, as I said, is something that is vital to the success of this project. This is the most complex element of the whole project, and technically most challenging. It consists of configuration and interoperability of server infrastructures and range of software solutions covering a sales application, terminal management system, card management system, transaction management system, user rights management system, fraud management system, user recognition system, reporting and analysis system, and background support system. Now, why all this? We want every user of the newly introduced digital services to be absolutely sure that his or hers data is safe, that payment transactions are completely safe. So we will have to meet all the criteria that is necessary to make these transactions and data very secure. So that's very, once it is established, it will be two-way two-way data channel. It will receive data from the sensors within parking system element and also public transportation element, but it will also provide information back to all these systems so the end user can use that data. To be more clear, for instance, this system will collect data from the buses, from the bus computer, which will tell the central system, for example, this bus is stuck in a traffic jam, and it will be late 5 or 10 minutes to the next bus station. That data is collected at central information system, and then it is dispatched on information panels on bus stations back from the central information system. So data is circulating in order to provide real-time information, so passengers can make their decisions on choosing the right way of transportation within the city traffic. One thing that is also very important to stress when central information system is in question is that this system is multi-modular, so it will enable further development of digital services. So at the end of the project, we will have public transportation system, we will have parking system, but also in future, certain selling systems can also attach to central information system maybe some tourism service providers, hotels, restaurants, museums. Tickets can be purchased for different events, touristic. So possibilities are very, very wide. Finally, web portal and mobile app is something that the end user actually sees and uses. So all of these elements I was telling about are can be called some kind of infrastructure, and they represent something that is not of utmost importance to the end users. But web portal and mobile app are something that is very important for the end users, whether we're speaking of citizens or visitors. And it represents a unique point of access to most of the important services that citizens and tourists need. From necessary information, access to various digital services, to the ability to pay for all those services by all payment methods. Again, I'm stressing out, we really wanted to enable our end users to be able to pay for the services with all payment methods. So mobile applications, credit cards, debit cards, also cash. We wanted to actually, we didn't want payment methods to be something that will discourage the end user to use some of the provided services. The application will have all city services in hands of users. As I stated earlier, the central information system can be upgraded with further digital public services. So in future, all public services will be reachable through the applications. It will provide better communication between public administration and users. It will make services more accessible. And in the context of tourism, which is important for today's workshop, it will provide relevant and accurate, on-time, real-time information. So, in conclusion, I have to stress yet another time the extreme scalability of this project. So we are dealing with mobility services, urban mobility services, but the scope of the project is far, far bigger because it will allow individual systems to develop and upgrade the standalone projects. And it will also enable other projects and other services that are not necessarily connected to urban mobility to develop on the same platform and to be accessible via same mobile and web platform. The ultimate goal, I would say, is to use modern technology to reduce the challenges of modern way of life. So modern way of life with everything good that's bringing to us is bringing a lot of challenges, a lot of stress, a lot of hectics. So we will try to put technology to service to bring the best quality of life to residents, but also the best experience of the destination to the visitors. Finally, I hope that after Project Southern Urban Mobility 4.0 is completely finished, that our visitors will be able not to worry about rush hours, traffic jams and stuff like that, but to take it slow and enjoy Zadar as destination. Thank you very much for your attention. Here are my contacts, so feel free to ask for more information or ask any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Odvitovic, for your interesting presentation. I believe we all learned something, and this is exactly why we called Ms. Odvitovic to tell us some more about the advancements within this project, because, as I mentioned earlier, transport is one of the integral parts of the complex system of tourism. However, it often, how could I put this, it goes under the radar. We always think, when we talk about the tourism and destination in this sense, we always think about some attractions, about the accommodation and all the other components of the destination, but often we don't mention the transport, but it plays vital role when we want to attract the visitors to come to our destination. So I believe this is a very important issue, and we wanted to show how digital solutions can help and improve our destinations traffic-wise. So, Katarina, do we have some questions from our attendees for Ms. Anna?
Just a second, there is 2 raised hands in the chat. And now I will allow Ms. Gabriela Vidic and Mr. Tomislav Klarin. I will allow them to talk and to pose their questions. Ms. Gabriela Vidic.
Good morning. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Anna, thank you very much for the very interesting presentation. I have a question related to the soft skills people involved in this project. So we have, for example, bus drivers or other related stakeholders. Is there like soft component within this or other projects where you will foster their knowledge or skills related to ICT in the destination or transport or other skills?
Thank you, Gabriela, for your comment and for the question. I didn't state the soft component because it comes within the packages of equipment installation. The provider of the equipment will have the users of the equipment educated, but we really insisted that all the applications and all ICT solutions are very simple and user-friendly. So it will be probably just 2 or 3 clicks to both for the bus drivers on one side and for the passengers on the other to consume the service.
Thank you. That's great. And additionally, what do you think? How will the local community somehow take this opportunity to be part of such a very smart destination and city?
Well, in my opinion and in my experience, Zadar and its local residents are already very keen on innovation and technology. Of course, there is a part of the population, such as elderly residents, that might have certain problems or issues when using smart city solutions. But this project is not for 2 to 5 years. It is a long-term project that will be developed, that will be upgraded, and digital services, as we can witness, are becoming more and more part of each of our lives. So I don't really see that as a problem.
Thank you very much for your answers. I'm looking forward to the implementation process. So see you then in our smart city. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriela.
Okay, so we have another question from Mr. Tomislav Klarin. Mr. Klarin?
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, Anna. Tomislav Klarin speaking. Hello to everyone. You mentioned key problems you wanted to solve with these problems, with these projects. What were the main constraints or barriers in implementation of these services technologies? Do you know it now, maybe? Do you see it now?
When planning a project, of course, we evaluated certain risks. Maybe the critical point will be linking all the services to the central information system. I don't see technically as a challenge to implement each and every one of the elements, but connecting all of them to a single platform that will enable one-stop shop for all digital services might be a certain challenge, but I'm really positive that together with our equipment and service provider, we will deliver the desired results of the project.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any feedback from the local community about the benefits that you will provide? Do you have any information about?
I think we will get more feedback now when the implementation of these project elements starts. In the past period, for the past year, almost, we have been preparing the administrative part of the project, which is very complex and very hard public procurement process. And I can finally and exclusively say that today, as we speak, the contract with the equipment and service provider will be signed. So we will go with the promotion of the project and newly established digital services after the equipment is installed and functional. So that is why I expect more of the feedback from the end users then, probably end of this year or start of the next one.
Okay, and the last question. We all know that all of these technologies are really expensive. What about the cost? Do you know how expensive would this be in implementation?
The project cost is estimated at 10 million kuna, which might sound quite expensive, but we were looking at other cities in Croatia and their solutions and their dedicated, allocated amounts. And I may say that Zadar will have probably most value for money, the best value for money percentage.
Okay, thank you very much. Like Gabriela said, I'm looking forward to see the real achievement. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay, do we have maybe some more questions from the other attendees of our workshop?
It seems we don't have any at the moment, but as Ms. Odvidovic already said on the presentation, there is her contact can be found, and our attendees can contact Ms. Odvidovic with any additional questions they may have.
Okay, then I would have one final question for Ms. Odvidovic. So when we look geostrategically, we are well aware that Zadar is one of the best positioned and traffic connected cities in Croatia. However, regardless of this good transport connection of Zadar with the state transport corridors, the existing transport system within the city area is, let's say, complex. And you have already mentioned that during your presentation, when you were talking about these key problems stated by the master plan of traffic sustainability of this other urban area. So My question is, we all know that some infrastructural works are necessary and we all want them. But when it comes to this point, when we have these infrastructural workers, there are some unsatisfied final beneficiaries, let's put it this way. From out of my window, I can see these works on one of the most used roads in Zadar. And we were all unhappy because we lost lots of our parking places and we had to change our daily routine. So not just from the perspective of this project, we know that you participated in many other projects, but how challenging is to keep all these stakeholders and interested parties satisfied when we're implementing some projects which would benefit them in the long term, like this project, but at the moment they perhaps feel deprived. So how do you solve these kind of situations?
That's a very good question. Yes, it is challenging. Also from my point of view, because it is very hard to change the habits, as you have said. I would say good communication is the key. I would say that local administration has to be very, very transparent and transparently communicate development plans to its citizens. In order for them to understand the long-term benefits and for them to be prepared to change the habits. We are not the only touristic destination and not the only one Mediterranean city that is having traffic problems and big traffic infrastructural works. The way of life is changing. The number of vehicles is increasing. So we have to adopt. I think everyone is aware of that in long term. So I would say communication is most important, communicating that from day to day.
Thank you, and that's exactly that. You said we have to adopt. So we were proud of the fact that we're automobile destination in the midst of this Corona crisis. So if we want to embrace it and take the advantage of it, we all need to sacrifice somehow. So in the long term, we could gain some good news. Okay.
Exactly.
So Ms. Odvitovic, many thanks on your very interesting presentation. It ticks all the boxes, as I said earlier, about this implementation of digital services through smart mobility solutions. So it's very appropriate in the wake of our project implementation. So once again, thank you. And since we have finished with this part of our agenda somewhat earlier, I suggest that now we have some 15 minutes break. We will let our other speaker, Mr. Ivan Iliasic, to prepare his presentation in these 15 minutes. So I suggest we all arrive back at 10:25 so we can proceed with the second part of our today's workshop. So thank you for your attention so far and see you at 10:25. See you.
Goodbye. Thank you for having me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the second part of our today's Smart Specialization workshop. As agreed earlier, we moved a bit our today's agenda, so at 10:25 now, we will proceed with our presentations. I'm going to shortly present our next speaker. So during the last two workshops, and also in previous presentation today, we have heard a lot about the term digitalization. It's some kind of a buzzword and a term that will for sure mark the tourism sector in the coming years, all under the imperative of smart tourism or tourism 2.0. The current situation conditioned by the COVID-19 has led many tourism entities to revise their current strategies and see how to invest smarter in the future and infrastructure. Thus, our tourism, and by our tourism, I mean on the tourism on the both shores of the Adriatic Sea on Italian and Croatian side, needs to experience some kind of digital transformation in order to use its potentials and resources more wisely. So in this sense, our second speaker today, Mr. Ivan Iliasic, will tell us more about challenges and opportunities that occurred within the everyday operations of Smart Destination Association, which is a network of tech experts who, united through innovative IT solutions, help tourist destinations to manage their resources and local offer as efficiently and easily as possible. As mentioned earlier, Mr. Ivan is CEO and founder of Orioli, a travel tech company that provides smart destination booking solutions for tour operators and destinations. So, Mr. Iliasic, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Borna. You just stole a couple of my first slides, so to see what I'm going to talk about. But let's kick off. Thank you all. Thank you all for attending this session. I'm really glad that you invited me, so I can present some of the things that we do and we operate. So let me just share my screen first, so we can switch to that session. And please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let me just switch to the full mode. Is it properly visible?
It remained the same as you have opened, but
Okay.
I don't think it's a problem for our attendees to follow.
Okay. So again, good day to you all. As you already heard, my name is Ivan Iliasic. I'm a CEO of Orioli company. We are providing booking management solution for SMBs, but also small medium businesses in the tourism sector, obviously. But also what we do is we work with a lot of small destinations where we help them transform their destination in terms help them aggregate their tourism offer and present them online along with using other traditional channels. So today I wanted to talk about this smart tourism, but not from theoretical perspective. I want to bring more, let's say, real life feedback. What are the challenges? And I would like to present this in some moments from the business perspective, for company perspective, and also what are some challenges that we see all destinations are facing nowadays, but in general. So I would like to tell a bit more about what is smart tourism in general. As I said, I will not stick to the theoretical part. I would like to see what we can achieve. What are some challenges that we see, and how to set up these projects so we can, see the light at the end of the tunnel, not in 5 years, but in 1 year, but in 6 months. Also, I wanted to clarify the importance of the data. Why this is important, what are the challenges that we are seeing companies are struggling, but also destinations. And at the end, I would like to show a couple examples. Some are, let's say, on a national scale, some on regional scale, but also on business or, let's say, attraction scale. Just like a bit more about my background. So I'm in travel tech business for 14 years. I worked with destinations from from Croatia, international destinations. So as I said, my focus is maybe more on providing booking management solutions for tour and attraction companies. However, over the past 2 years, I've been heavily involved in working with destinations in Croatia, in Europe, in Latin America, South Africa as well, where we are trying to see how to connect different types of businesses, promote their offer, and also to see how can tourism boards, destination management offices can help local businesses promote their offer online and distribute it online so tourists can see and get the motivation why to visit certain cities. So as I mentioned, when we talk about smart tourism, usually the initial image that we get is we are looking for some mobile booking applications, websites where we can see flight costs, flight prices, prediction what will be when to book a room or accommodation. We see robots, we see smart chatbots, and it sounds, when you're at the beginning of working some transformation of your business or destination, sometimes it looks really like a space shuttle, and it's really hard for companies who are just starting going online or destination that want to make a first step of transforming their and promoting their local businesses to plan something and see, okay, this is what we see in another city or another business, and we need to invest a lot of time, and we want to see this happening, but they know, okay, this can happen like in maybe 2 to 3 years. So, and I always say there are a couple of reasons why this happens. First is, as we know, tourism is a kind of traditional industry. So it's been here for a while, and we need to invest a lot of time and effort to make a change, to use new channels, new technologies. Also, the other issue is I have an IT background. So I'm an IT guy, and I know IT companies, when they start promoting these projects, it seems like they present this project in a term, okay, this is how we can do it, and this is what we might do, and it has to be a space shuttle, and see you in 3 years. And we know we cannot wait for that. So situations that we see is, for example, if you are a small business and you want to present let's say you're providing local tours around your city, or you are a DMO manager and you want to present the offer of local tours, wine tasting, good restaurants, you need to gather all this information, put it on one website, on one place, see how you can distribute this on other places. You need to get a lot of information. Nowadays, people are using websites like TripAdvisor, Viator, Get Your Guide to gather this information. But there's a lot of data noise, I would say, in which people cannot get the proper information. What is a good place to go? So usually, even though we are expecting to see this kind of advanced space shuttle solutions, a lot of our tourists are acting this way on our destination. So I'm not saying they're using maps, but they are Googling, they're checking where to go, what to see, how to do it, and where should they go, and how should they experience the local destination, what is unique in some cities. It's the same situation when we talk with DMOs. It's similar when we talk with businesses who just starting going online. So unfortunately, last year we went through something that is totally new to all of us, pandemic and COVID. And while talking with a lot of destinations and companies, I had a feeling they felt this way. So it was like, we are in a lockdown. We cannot work. We cannot operate. We cannot promote our destination. Yet you can see a lot of businesses from different industries went online. So nowadays, you order food, you order a cab, you go online and buy a lot of stuff. And these kind of businesses, they were able to go further. On the other hand, we in tourism, we are in lockdown. People are not coming. So it was easy to hear and say, yes, we need to invest in online business.
Mr. Ilyasic,
Yes.
Sorry for interrupting you, but it seems that we don't see when you move your slides.
Really?
We're seeing your initial slide. Now we
Okay.
see it.
Can you see it now?
Yes, yes, now we see it.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. I'm not sure which slide was the last one you've seen.
The first one.
Okay. You don't have to see me. Okay. So this was the slide about, I was saying space shuttles, but this is how tourists look like usually. And this is the situation how we see each other. Because we don't know how to proceed. We don't know how to invest. So situations, as I said, were, we need to invest into business, but on the other hand, we are in lockdown. We're not getting any revenues, and we need to proceed with our businesses. So the challenges, for example, what we've seen was we've seen a lot of promotion of virtual tours for different cities. But what we've seen then was, you're telling a lot of businesses or destination, please invest into virtual tours, please invest into some virtual experience. You need to invest a lot of money, and a lot of destination businesses have no idea, will this work? Probably it will, but small companies, small destinations cannot afford to invest into something that is not, we don't know if it will work or not. Also last year, in April and May, I had a lot of talks with destination management companies, with tourism boards in April and May, where we were in lockdown. Our world of practice was in lockdown, and we were talking with companies as well, and no one knew what will happen. And a lot of destinations were saying, okay, let's wait and see. We were also I've seen a lot of projects in which there were some ideas how to make digital transformation. And we had a feeling a lot of these projects are like, as I said, okay, we want to transform our destination or company. We'll need to invest a couple millions of euros, and let's see what will happen in 2 years. And for that reason, we said, okay, there are a lot of companies from Croatia that work in travel tech. We work with international companies. We have the experience, and we said, look, we worked on these type of projects in the past with hotels, with airlines, with tourism, travel agencies, with destination as well. So why not gather our ideas and create an association where we can exchange those ideas and also encourage destinations, companies in which direction to go. So if they believe they should invest 1 year and invest 1 million euros on one project, we can tell them, okay, someone else tried to do it. These were challenges, and maybe it should be better to say, okay, let's start with the first, you should start with first, second, third phase. So you can see some implementation in 3 months. You can see maybe some results in 3 to 6 months, rather than spending a lot of money and budget on something that you are not sure how it will work. I would like to show you a couple examples later on, but the question is, why do we need smart tours? So why do we want to invest in digital solutions? Why do we want to invest in promoting, using some new tools to do it? So I always like to say, if you are a small business and you provide some unique local experience, like tours, like restaurants, you provide local cuisine, but also if you're a destination and you have something really valuable, you need to create a motive. Why should people visit your destination? That means you need to create great photos, great videos, provide content. And then always the challenge is, okay, once you provide this motivation for tourists, is this enough? I live in Zagreb, in Croatia. If I see a good restaurant in Zadar, of course I will visit Zadar, right? But the question is, like, is one restaurant enough for me to visit Zadar? So this is why we say, okay, you need to create a good motivation, especially if you're working in the tourism board. You need to provide people a couple of these hidden gems, unique experience, so people can come. What we see then, when we see something is set, it looks great. People nowadays want to say, okay, how can I book it? What should I do? This looks great. I want to visit it. I want to book it. I want to get this experience. And then the trouble starts. So usually I want to book a restaurant. I want to book a tour. I want to visit a museum. I want to visit a castle. But I don't see any activation option there. It's because either companies, small companies, they do not use any booking solutions, or they are not eager to use it. So what happens is, and I've seen in my personal, from my personal experience, but while talking with a lot of companies, you go online, you find a lot of, let's say, half-baked information or something that is not helping businesses, but also destination activate those tourists. And when you have this activation part ready, then you spin the wheel. You have the motive why people should come. They can connect with the company or the tourism board, and they can then come and visit. Once they visit, again, they will share this information online, and then the process starts. So if you look at this is a kind of list of, let's say, attractions, content, tourist content provided on destinations. And I added this book now button. I hope you can see this because I'm trying to change the screen so you can see it better. Not sure why full screen doesn't work, but a lot of this content is online. You can see a lot of basic information, but nowadays tourists want to know about the attraction. They want to get a motive why to visit some company or visit destination, and they want it to book or take it right now. So according to our experience, according to some of our researchers, why is local experience so important for building local sustainable tourism? Well, when you visit certain destination and you spend like 7 days there, now you will book probably around 7 different experience activities during your vacation. This is according to some of our research. This is according to Digital Travel Trends report by Arrival.travel, and also some of this data is aligned with Focusrite reports. So you go on your vacation, you visit a restaurant, you will do maybe a boat tour, you will probably visit some museum, probably you will visit I don't know, some castle, something like that. So without knowing, average tourist will book 7 different experiences. And when you don't have this available online in terms that you can book it, send a reservation inquiry even, this is a challenge because people come to the destination, they get a motive before they come to the destination. However, they're not sure what to expect. They don't see proper information, or they see it, but they want to book it. They say, okay, I cannot do it right now. I will do it when I come to the destination. According to our research as well, only 1 out of 5 tourist providers offer online booking option, which means tourists come to the destination, they believe they know what to experience. They will usually probably see some, let's say, well-known highlights. But when they need to go in details, or they want to book some restaurant, or they want to book a tour, they're having struggles with that. So they go online, they go on Google, they try to find it. They can find some sites like TripAdvisor in which you can find good reviews. But the question is, like, you can see so many details there that the question is, can you find a good offer? For example, if I'm in Zagreb, I want to visit Zagreb, I want to see some local tours, I want to find local restaurants, I will be able to find or offer to go to Split, Dubrovnik, Plitvice, and probably I will do that. But then the challenge is, if I have a tourist that will spend maybe 3 days in my destination, Zagreb, will they be able to find a local experience? Because, you know, the data is a bit scattered and they cannot find what is really local in my area. And this is really important to know because a few years ago, 2 years ago, actually, I was on one panel about seasonality of tourism. And I had a colleague from Switzerland, Austria, actually, sorry. He was talking how long people stay in Austrian destination. And like, especially we were talking about city breaks. And we were talking about the fact that at that point in Zagreb, people were staying every 2.13 days or nights. So I was talking with one business, one hostel in Zagreb, and they told me their average duration of how many nights people stay is 4.13. So I asked them, okay, can you please share the information? What is the difference? And what they told me, and this was usually during Zagreb Advent time, and what they told me, what we did is, since we are a hostel, we have a lot of people who want to, experience, or get local experience. So what we did is, we call one family business near Zagreb. What they do, they provide some kind of Christmas fairy tale. So when you come to that destination, to their family house, practically they have a whole land decorated is in Christmas lights. So we in Croatia, in Zagreb, we know about it, but people outside of Croatia that don't know about it. So what the owner of this hostel did, he just called this family business, said, look, we would like to send you 100 tourists in a bus to see how this Christmas fairy tale looks like. And they asked, okay, how much will this cost? And practically said, no, we want to send them to you. Maybe, I don't know, they maybe share the cost of these buses. But the idea was, by connecting these businesses, by providing some option that they can reserve this, what happened is those tourists decided to stay longer in Zagreb. They were able to see something extra. They were able to find some other experience. And by using easy way to book and have a list of people who can book it, what they accomplished is they were able to extend the duration of their visit to Zagreb. As I mentioned, when we talk about smart tourism, I believe it's always a challenge about the data. We want to have our tours, activities, restaurant available online. We need to provide live, up-to-date data. We want to see if these businesses are open or closed, but also if some tour or sightseeing is available, can people book it? Also, the other challenge is, if you're a small business and you will say, okay, I will start working online, that's great. I will build my own website and I will put my booking engine online. Then the question is, okay, who knows about this website? You need to invest into marketing. Visitors will come. But then the question is, okay, if I'm the only company here who wants to do this, will people come to me? So then we have a level of tourism boards that say, okay, we want to promote our destination. We want to show different hidden gems of our destination. And then we start talking, okay, small tourism SMBs, they can promote on their website, on their Facebook, Instagram pages, and so, but they always see challenges. Okay, how can I not rely on one platform? How can I extend my visibility? Which is something that we see as well. Last year and this year, we've seen a lot of destinations start investing in their own website, new website, which is great. But what we also see is, once you aggregate this data, don't believe that only putting the data on your website will be enough. What we've seen in our experiences and what we try to promote is as well, if you have tourism boards that put the local experience on a website, it's really, I mean, great step forward. But people, they want to see what is that offer. For example, if you have restaurants, tours, activities, adventure tourism, they want to share and they want to experience that, which is good. But then the question is, can your website be the only way to promote local tours, local businesses? Then we see a different options. We see a lot of companies investing in mobile solutions, where we say we like the idea, but nowadays, who is downloading and installing new applications, especially for destinations? let's get realistic. So you will install your email application, WhatsApp, Viber, Uber, and if your kids take your phone and install some games. Practically people do not use applications anymore, especially for one-offs if they come. So they use Google, they use existing application. And the challenge there is also, if you are building these kind of websites, applications, please keep in mind how the data will be managed. So what we are also saying to, and we've seen in real life, is when you start working on these type of projects, please keep in mind how you will manage the data and how you're gonna manage and distribute this data. So when we start talking about small businesses, we tell them, okay, you want to go online. What you want to offer online? Let's say they want to promote their tours and activities. Okay, who is your target audience? Do you want to focus on tourists that are still not a destination, or someone who just looking for motivation? Again, this is something that we can relate to any business and any destination. How to find your target audience, how to find it, how to keep an interest, how to keep inventory up to date, so your offer is available online, but also you don't have any overbookings, or someone starts booking but you're not operating that time, which channel to use, and how to know if you're successful. So what I'm always saying is, we like our businesses, we like our destinations, but the question is, when we're building a brand and offer of our destinations, do we want our customers to be tourists, to be customers or fans? So I put one quote of Bruce Dickinson. He's a rock singer. He's a teacher of history, investor, pilot, and a keynote speaker, where he said, when you have a concert audience, they're not customers, they are fans. So the idea is, when someone visits your destination, or they book a tour, or they come to your restaurant, do you want to be a customer, or do you want to be a fan? A fan will be someone that will love your business, love your destination, and promote it. So the idea is, once we see businesses want to go online, how they want to go online, we always say, okay, you want to use websites, you want to use mobile apps. Are you putting the proper information on those websites? Are you providing an option that people can book online, so they need some call to action? If you're building websites, okay, you will put great content, you will put call to action. Do you really need to build everything from scratch? We've seen a lot of cases, and with destination as well, where someone starts building everything from scratch, from a website, from a booking management solution. And does it make sense to build it everything from scratch? Is it better maybe to use some kind of licensing opportunity where the cost will be lower, where you can start in 2 months rather than build something for 2 years and then start doing from that? The challenges that we see is, I was talking about mobile applications. Destinations sometimes build an application that is hard to manage later on. In terms, you build an application where you put information about the accommodation, the IT company provides you with that service, and then this data is set. There is some management option system to add this data, but then the question is, if you're a, let's say, tourism board, you don't have the capacity to manage that. You cannot like change names, titles, photos of accommodation, of tours or restaurants. It's not something that you should do. What we've seen some shift last year, instead of investing a lot of effort in building new websites, new mobile applications, where DMO must invest to build something from scratch, we can see a lot of destinations saying, okay, there are some existing solutions in the market, let's use it. Let's say use a website system where we can put all this content of our destination. It's already pre-built. Maybe it should be extended, but at least we don't have to wait to have it built in 2 years. Then they say, okay, we want to put all our greatest attractions, let's say museums, some castles or something like this in our website. And we would like to see when someone visits the website of our destination is that they can go to the website where they can book and reserve this service. However, the difference is the destination say we will maybe invest in licensing or something like that to help small businesses go online. But the idea is, let's not build and provide this to businesses. Let's not build the entire solution from scratch, from zero, because that takes a lot of time. And small businesses and destinations should not be the ones that build everything from scratch. There are certain solutions out there already used, so there's no need to do that. As I mentioned, when we talk about this data, we need to avoid situation in which we have a black box data phenomenon, in which you put the data, put something on your website, and then it's hard to maintain. So what we see with destinations is the destination can have the website where they can provide some general content about the offer. But if we talk about live booking availability, this is something that can be managed by a company. So each company can manage this level of data on its own. And if we have destination that want to build a website with the entire offer, this is the level that destination can say. They can create criteria when can someone be listed. But the live availability, if someone is working, operating, working hours, so it's something that companies can do. So that way, all these projects are not, built as a one-off project, and also you don't, as someone that is managing the destination, you don't get in situation where you got stuck in a hole where you create an application, a project, you try to promote it, and you simply see the data about the offer of the destination is not correct. So what you have then, you have a project that is not up to date. People can use it, but they don't see an option to book anything, or the data is obsolete, 2 years old, and then you build something and it didn't work out. What we see is, sorry, Justin, let me go back. What I also wanted to mention is, when we see destination building new technical solutions, we always try to tell them, okay, you build a website. Let's not talk about mobile apps. You build a website where your offer is promoted. But how are you going to reach out to the audience? Let me give you one example what we did in a couple of places outside of Croatia, but also in Croatia. So we see that some channels, traditional channels, are not so used nowadays to promote local experience. So I can give you one example where we worked with 2 property managers in Istria, in Croatia, where they provide maybe 200-300 great houses, pool villas, and people come, they know about Istria, but when you come to the great place and you have a great host, you will always expect this person will know something about the local experience, and also they will be able to recommend you what to do here. So when you come to the house, this beautiful house with a pool, you probably know something about the destination before coming there. However, you ask your host, okay, what can I do here? So we were talking with these 2 property managers who are managing these houses, and what they did is they provide a lot of flyers, paper content to these guests, and they were checking these paper that was printed maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, pandemic area, and so some companies were shut down, unfortunately. And what we talked with them, and we said, okay, you have a DMO or someone who aggregated the data about the destination and what to do here. Instead of going printing a lot of content, flyers, and business cards, why not do this? So you have an offer on one website. People, when they're visiting property managers, they can access this data, they can see it on tourism board website. But what we said, instead of printing a lot of content, why not create a simple QR code? When they scan this QR code, they will be again to see again, the same content, the same data placed by a DMO and these businesses. So the data is aggregated in one place. You are repurposing the same content again, but it's adapted to be simply visible on the mobile device. People again will see a list of these 10, 20 providers. When they click book or create a reservation, again, the same data will be used. And practically we were able in 1 week to get, I mean, in 100 houses, around 3,000 reservations during this pilot project last year after the pandemic. So by using the same data that is in one place, but moved to one different channel, these companies were able to get new tourists. And then we said, okay, how we can proceed further? How can we think about the idea how to promote the same information to tourism information centers as well? How to check, can we connect these tour providers, and this is what we do outside, how we can maybe say, okay, this is 1 or 2 property managers that really want to have this data, because this provides an additional motivation for guests to enjoy the house, enjoy the villa. But then the question was, okay, can we do it forward? Can we move it forward? Can we say, okay, there are other property managers that would like to get this content. So when someone, for example, books a villa, you can automatically serve, here is what can you do on this destination. I also wanted to mention augmented virtual reality projects. So over the past 12 months, but before that, there were a lot of talks about augmented virtual reality projects. I mean, these projects are really great to promote your destination, but we sometimes see this is more about tourism destination or tourism boards when they invest in virtual reality projects. And I believe this is a great platform, great way to create a great branding awareness, making something being viral. But the question is, okay, who is the target audience to do that? And is this project something that will be an ongoing project? And what do you want to accomplish by that? So some of our partners from the Smart Destination Association were telling me they work on some project in Germany where they were investing in virtual reality projects for, let's say, 20 castles in one region. But what they wanted to be sure is that this will be something that is really appealing, attractive project, something that will inspire people to come and visit there. That, however, they were from the start, they were thinking about this. Okay, this will look really great. This will really be something that will attract people to come to us. But the question is, will this be, a great fancy toy, or do we want to use this as a promoting channel? For example, nowadays they're like, I will show you one example of the project from Croatia, where the idea is you can use your mobile phone, you can go around the city, you will be able to see some augmented reality attractions, like you're going around the main square, you can see something is popping up on your phone, some animated character, which is great. But then the question is, okay, when we see that, what will be the call to action? Can we then show an option, please go click here and you will be redirected to the museum, to the zoo, to some restaurant? So the idea of this group of German castle was, okay, we want to present our castles in a way that it looks attractive, but inside of this project, we would like to see, can we use this so people, when they use the mobile app, they can be motivated to visit us and to book the ticket for that. So when we talk about this project, I mentioned earlier, last year, a lot of companies were told, please invest into virtual tours. But the feedback that we were getting was, okay, I'm a small company that has no revenue at the moment, and I need to invest maybe 10, 20,000 euros for something that I'm not sure will work. So, as entrepreneurs, we always want to take the risk, but the question is, okay, Is this realistic or not? So when we talk about these augmented virtual reality projects, I think it's really important to know what is the goal. Is the goal to make it a teaser? Is it the goal to make it viral? Is it just about brand awareness? Is it maybe idea you want to build something and you want to promote so your city, your destination can maybe win some award? So I will show you one project later on in which a destination and the company that worked on that project won the award on one of the biggest travel fairs in the world, which was also a great PR later on and motivation to invest more into this type of promotion. My idea and the idea about smart tourism is we want to invest in these projects, but we need to have a plan. Is it our idea we want to put some data online, we want to put offer local experience, but we need to ensure that this will last for a while. You build a website, it looks great, it looks attractive, but then you say, okay, we need to add this, we need to add this, we need to add this supplier, and we need to plan, okay, how we can ensure that the data that we provide to our tourists is here to stay. And we need to ensure that we can manage this project. And we want to be sure that if we want to add more content, more motivation to our guests, that it will not be a painful experience. Also, if we want to provide an option to that tourists can book something online, we always have let's say regulations that tourism boards must be non-commercial, you cannot favor anyone, and you cannot maybe do commercial work. So then the question is, okay, how you can provide your tourists on your website the option that they can book it, and they can book it from someone else. And then again, if you build these type of projects, as I said, how you can build a long-term visibility. So you don't have to build one website and then people see it one-off and then they don't come. I can tell you a couple of projects, for example, in Croatia, in continental part, where we can see really great offer. I'm from continental part from Croatia, I'm always a fan of it. So we see some wine tasting tours, some local traditional content and events. But then the question is, okay, who will come? Who you want to target? If you do some promotion, how many people will see it? Is it a long term? Will people come again? Or this will be one off and then see, and let's talk about it in 12 months. How you can promote this online, but also how you can promote offline. So as I was saying, if you have, let's say, 5 places you need to visit in your city, 5 tours, 5 restaurants, you can promote it. Each business can promote this on their own channels, but then the destination can promote it. Can this data be served into B&Bs, in villas, in hotels, in tourism centers? Can this data maybe be, when it's aggregated, can a tourism board say, okay, let's talk with, let's get in touch with bloggers, website, other travel portals that promote the local experience, because this could be interesting for them. And again, you can use this data and you don't have to build it from scratch. You can just redistribute it. So that way your destination and your businesses can get more visibility and they will not rely only on one channel, which is really important. A lot of companies nowadays, small, medium businesses, when they start their business, they start relying maybe on one sales channel. I've mentioned like TripAdvisor, Get Your Guide, some of these websites that promote the local experience. But the challenge is, if you start doing business well, you're listed maybe among 10, 20 first search results, but maybe tomorrow this business will be listed at the 2nd, 3rd page of that search engine. So then the question is, and we've seen those situations, is if that happens, maybe they will, if they rely on one channel, they can lose 80% of their revenue, which is, in start, it looks good because they're getting traffic, but later on, they rely on only one channel. So what I wanted to show you is a couple of examples from national scale level to the local scale level or business level. So for example, I want to bring out a digital destination project, Spain.info, where the project was, again, we teach a website project. The idea is you want to motivate and engage tourists. You want to show them what your destination offers. You want to provide them content, inspiration, but basic information is just not enough. Tourists must get an inspiration, and you need to provide them call to action as soon as possible. So Spain Info contains a lot of information about Spain, cities, regions, and so. But what they did is they provide an option that local tours, guides, plus restaurant accommodation, they can be listed there. You can even see the prices of these tours. Again, there's some level of verification of the data, as I mentioned. But the idea was, once you list these businesses, people can see the information about the content of the offer. And if they want to book it, they can click book. What happens is when you click book, then you're redirected to the other website of the company or some other website where a tourist can book it and buy this. So again, entire payment and invoicing part is managed by a supplier. So each supplier is managing their own data, their own offer. But again, the live data availability is set, the proper information are set, and also this data is available on tourism board website, on supplier website, on mobile devices. So practically, once the supplier said we are not available, then this is not, the data is not available on all these channels. Data is synced, and supplier can promote their offer on multiple websites by using one tool. We've seen, and we can see a lot of destinations, national boards right now working on such initiatives where we want to invest in moving businesses going online. And some of the ideas that we are getting and feedback we are getting is, okay, we can invest in some kind of platform infrastructure or providing tools to these companies, because that way we can be sure they can move forward. And later on, the content, the offer of these destinations available in different platforms. This is one of the examples I also wanted to show you. My company was working on this one last year. So we worked with DMO of Friesland along with our partner from the Netherlands. So the idea was Friesland was a former capital of culture. And what they wanted to do after the lockdown, they want to ensure that they wanted to promote the local museums online and offline. In terms, they wanted to ensure that visitors of Friesland can book online tickets for museums, but also when they go to accommodation, they can scan the QR code and they can again see what is listed, what they can do here and how to promote it. So this was a really good project for them, because after the pandemic, they were not sure what to expect, what to start. They invested really not much budget into this, and they were able to really boost their results really fast. I wanted to show you one other project that was here in Croatia. So, and this was a really interesting project that was happening last year. So, as you know, a lot of tourists nowadays are thinking, okay, maybe they don't want to go to hotels, they want to go on the, let's say, in rural areas, somewhere in nature, maybe to book houses, villas, somewhere outside of crowded tourist areas. And last year, one of our companies here in Croatia, FOBS, they're specialized in hotel and camping channel management software. So they started working with ADAC. It's a German auto club. So they provided integration with their system. So what happened last year is after we were not sure what would be happening with the lockdown and pandemic and when people will be able to start traveling, they connected with this auto club, a German auto club, their website PinCamp. So practically all camping companies in Croatia that were using FOBS and their products, they were listed on PinCamp and other sales channels of ADAC which help them get instant bookings from these websites. So because of these companies, camping sites were using some kind of proper management software, they were able to be listed last May without practically no idea this will happen. So by investing into this type of management software, instead of using some old software or using other tools, they were able to distribute their offer really easy, which will help them in this turbulent 2020. So I will show you one example of city of Ravensburg in Germany. So what they decided to do is they said, okay, they are like small tourism destination, and what they wanted to say is we have our museums, tours, sightseeing spots, and we like to aggregate our offer. But the idea was, once they aggregated the offer, placed it on the website, they will provide each company a license, so they can use a booking software. This will help small companies go online. It's not a big budget project. Company will start getting bookings online. However, the idea was, once they collected all these suppliers in one place, they said, okay, now we can put it on a new website. We can even integrate this data into other websites. So once something is changed with data, again, this will be applied on a lot of other websites. And the idea was, we want to push small businesses going online. Maybe it will be some initial cost, but then this will help the destination go live and proceed with that. I was telling you about the augmented reality project. So this is a project for promoting Zagreb Advent last year, where the idea was to implement, to provide some new tourist experience during the pandemic. Again, it was a lockdown kind of time. So the idea was, okay, we want to provide new tourist experience. People can use this mobile application, while they were not standard Zagreb Advent installments, unfortunately. But the idea was, okay, let's provide people some kind of content, interactive content that will help them gain more experience. Then the question was, okay, this is a project that started right now, something new, some new tourist experience, but this also was opportunity to see, okay, can we build new products of this sort? Can we start thinking about some new smart media promotion where we can connect this with other tools and so on? And the last but not the least, I believe this is a project from Savicenta, Svetvincenat, a small place in Istria. What they did a few years ago, they have a house of Ichmara, where they wanted to promote some local legends. So when you visit, this is a place, I believe they have 200 inhabitants during winter, but they have a really fantastic, great Grimani castle, which was reconstructed last year. And if you have a chance, please visit it. I love it. So what they did is they created virtual reality story where people can come, put virtual glasses, they can see and learn more about this legend. It was done, I would say, with a relatively small budget, but what happened is this project was promoted on WTM in London in 2019. They won the award for the best innovative tourism product. And after that, what they did, and they published it last year, so they created a they opened a castle, renovated castle, where they provided a lot of multimedia content there, where when you can come, put virtual glasses, play some games there, learn more about the project. You can learn how the castle was built. When I'm in Istria, I need to always go there with my kids. I was there like 2 weeks ago as well. And basically this was a new product that is also helping them promote their local experience. So what they do, they build an interactive virtual augmented reality project that brought a new content, something that is attractive, something that when we bring awards, it will gain traction. On the other hand, when you come there and you see this multimedia content, you can come to the castle. You can try and see what are some local, specific local products from experience side, but also they can tell you, okay, what you need to eat, what you need to taste, where you can buy something. And basically for this multimedia project, they gain traction, they got visitors, and also that way they wanted to promote their local experience and what you must do when you're in Savicenta or in that area. Okay, I'm not sure. So we are not running out of time, and I spoke almost like an hour. But I wanted to check with you. So we went through a lot of details here. Do you have maybe some questions, ideas, concerns?
Okay, Mr. Ivan. So I would like first to thank you on your very interesting presentation. And we're really glad that you provided us with many examples of best practices. So you gave us some theoretical background in short, but what's most important, you gave us some real life experiences and what you have experienced during your career. Also, I remembered one thing, and it stuck with my mind when you were talking about the fact that, for instance, you will find one good restaurant in Zadar, but is one good restaurant in Zadar enough for you to visit Zadar? So I would like just to stress out that why this presentation is so valuable to us and our partners. It's not just about these digital solutions, about smart tourism, but it's also about adopting this collaborative approach. So then it's valuable because this is a transnational project. So if it's about one destination, then it would be on the level of micro destination. But it's a fact that we need to adopt this cooperative networks and collaborative approach. And you gave a great example of this hostel in Zagreb, which was collaborating with the family-run business near Zagreb, and they were sending their guests to them. So it's always up to us, up to these stakeholders at the lowest levels, let's put it this way, to be proactive, to take the initiative. We cannot wait for someone else to give us some instructions, do this, do that. Okay, we have, of course, DMOs, we have government, local authorities, they have their obligations and duties, but it's up to us to be proactive and take the first step. And I think that's the most important thing that we should carry from your presentation. And from this, I have one question for you. We're doing also a lot of other projects, and in the midst of this corona crisis, the people have started to appreciate more the local products. We're moving away from this mass tourism. We are starting to appreciate, for instance, our hinterlands and the rural areas. In the rural areas, still there's a opinion that the National Tourist Board is the most responsible for the not just promotion of the tourism, but also for starting some initiatives. What's your opinion of it? Do you think that national tourism boards are the ones that we should look most up, or there are also some other key stakeholders?
That's a great question. What I wanted to first, I want to give you feedback about connecting regions and collaborate. So here's how I see it. I'm from east part of Croatia, Slavonia, and we are not so developed tourist destination. But if you compare the content that we provide, so you can have adventure, biking, fantastic food, like in Dalmatia and Istria. But the challenge that I see is, how to brand that part. And I see sometimes they say, okay, one region is Slavonia, one is Baranja, one is Srijem. But if you're a German US tourist, you have no idea about the difference. It's about continental Croatia, that's it. So sometimes what we tell to people, you can promote something that is your local, but if you want to have a person that to stay 7 days in that area, you need to connect with other regions. Every city, every region had its own hidden gems. If I'm visiting, for example, I was in Istria 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to Austria, for example, in 2 weeks to some business meeting. But also seeing, okay, I will go through Slovenia, I will go through Austria, and when I'll go to Istria again, I will probably go to maybe Venice area, because I simply wanted to connect, spend my 2-3 of my days and try to see how I can explore that region. So I think this is really vital to understand that tourists nowadays, as you said, let me go back to your second, to your question. I believe people want to explore nowadays other areas more than ever. I was talking with a couple of companies from the UK where they're saying, look, once the lockdown restrictions will lift off, we can see companies interested in this area, in Africa, and the booking interest is like 3 times higher. But, you know, the difference is they want to explore something unique, something that is not, you know, on every photo when the country is presented. So I believe this is really vital information. You know, I was kidding with my colleagues from Croatia, you know, when we live in the capital. So, you know, moving outside is, you know, really hard. But I was talking with our partners in Russia, where for them in the US, it's perfectly normal that you would drive 2 hours to visit something, because there is motivation to do that. I believe last year in May, when restrictions and lockdown was lifted off in Croatia, people started exploring Croatia. But like my wife, she's managing a website about Croatian experience, and she got so many requests because people, we believe that we know about our destination, but actually we don't. We care more about how to move to some big name cities in Europe rather than that. So I believe people are more interested in exploring a lot of local experience, and we talk about domestic tourists and about international. It's for us in tourism to do that and present them that offer. So we don't have to be shy. As a nation, I believe we have great gems in Italy, in Croatia, but we need to cherish and value that and say this is local. You cannot experience this you can experience this only in Italy and Croatia. Regarding your question about the National Tourism Board, I mean, I believe we cannot rely only on National Tourism Board, because it's like, I always see this as a big enterprise company. So if you have your local branches, offices in your area, you cannot expect the management board of the company to do that. I was talking about some like continental parts of Croatia, where people see, okay, there are a lot of tourists coming to coast side from Germany, UK, Italy, and so and then I say, okay, you are like in eastern part of Croatia, you want to promote some wine tourism, so do not expect tourism board, national tourism board, to bring you tens, thousands of tourists from Germany, Italy, France. Why not get 10,000 people from Zagreb? Because if people from Zagreb don't have this information, what you offer, how you can expect other people can do that? If you don't provide enough information and motivation for people from here, how can a national tourism board can help you out? I mean, we see a lot of initiatives that is happening, and this is really great. But then we come to this situation. Okay, you want to present this, I don't know, wine weekend in east part of Croatia or continental part of Croatia. Will this be one-off? Will people know about this in 1 month? So again, sometimes it starts. You know, we talk, for example, I like to compare this with our national Croatian football team. When we can see the system is working, people are like, they're great. Luka Modric is fantastic. But the question is, was Luka Modric built because we have a great system? And do you expect the National Football Federation to build Luka Modric? Or was the result of Luka Modric being the great professional, someone that was a great worker? So I believe this can reflect on us as well. It all starts from small businesses. Local tourism board must play the role, especially when we want to promote destination. We need to have some plan, and I'm again talking, we don't have to build like strategies. We have long-term strategies, but for these type of projects, we don't have to say, okay, let's start to see you in 6 years. But, you know, small businesses need to take their role, local tourism boards, and again, when this is all things out, National Tourism Board can play their role in their support. But again, it's all about, if you want to build local, we need to build local. And this is something that is something really good. I can give you one example in our Gorski Kota region and Mountain region. So we've seen one-man band companies providing so much traction because they provide local forest, hill, mountain tours and do it on their own. And then we have examples in which we see some interesting museums, sightseeing, castles, in which some initial effort was done. But then this call to action part, managing project later on, it stops. And then the question is, how can we have one person do so much local? Then something like this stops. You cannot expect National Tourism Board to do that. They can provide you with support, but then I'm a small business owner, so I would say it's all about me. I can always complain about the laws, regulations, government, whatever. But again, I have my colleagues, my co-workers who I need to manage and help them. And I think this is something that can apply to let's say, tourism infrastructure in general.
Okay, thank you for the answer, and I completely agree with everything you said. And it's, as you said, it's always about me. So this is this bottom-up approach that we are trying to implement during our project. Also, you cannot expect that someone will, on the top of the hierarchy, will do everything for you, and you will then implement it. The ideas can be created also, and they should be created also at the lowest levels. So thank you for this answer. I invite also our other attendees and participants. I believe we have so much insight now and input that we all could reflect on what Mr. Ilyashic said and ask him a question. Katarina, do we have some attendees that would like to know?
Yes, it seems that Mr. Tomislav Klare has a question. Mr. Klare?
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Tomislav.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ivan, for sharing us your experience and best practices. Just a question, short question from a point of view of a regular consumer. Do you think, is it too much or too complex for a regular consumer? I know that youngers, these technologies and all of these is very applicable for them, but what about others? For example, for older consumers, is it too much for them? What do you think? And other questions, what do you think, what can we expect in the future regarding all of these technologies and everything you said? Thank you very much.
Very good question, Tomislav. So my belief is, one thing, like our perspective is, if we provide a bad experience to our tourists, then the young generation will not adapt it, but also, let's say our older tourists as well will not adapt it. So if we provide something that is simply to use, and they can need to do it with a few clicks, I believe this is doable. Especially if you provide people good motivation. As I said, if you say that you have a great castle near accommodation or near a city, if you have great wine area and you promote this really well, people they have struggles taking that technology, they will get some motivation to move forward. I believe it's really vital to understand, you said, what will happen in the future. So there are like so many buzzwords happening right now. We were talking about, last year it was virtual tours, robot tour guides. We talk about big data. I'm an IT guy. I have no idea what that really means. Like, it's like smart tourism, people talk about it, they have no idea what it is. So I believe what's really vital to know, what is the scope you want to do. If you want to build a website, let's put data that is valuable. Later on, if you want to build, for example, some solution where you want to have a live availability of all of your properties, apartments, hotels, I would like to say, tell me what do you want to do with this, who will be attracted, and how you will manage the data. I can give you one example. So 3 weeks ago, I was a panelist in one workshop, Smart Tourism Live, where we were presented a couple examples of cities that won the award of the smart cities. One of them was Ljubljana. And, you know, we are neighbors, so we always like to compare each other. We want to see, is it the grass greener in the across the fence? So they build out their mobile application. But what was interesting to do, so there were options that you can book, building museums or maybe find restaurants, but they added some information that is really so simple and viable, where you can drink clean water in a city. So they provided this information, and it's visible on their website, on the mobile apps, and so this was not something fancy at all, but they provide this information that is really inspiring, motivating for people that visit there, with the idea you can buy water in a supermarket, but you can do it through, you don't have to do it. So when we provide these small but really valuable values through local hidden gems, I don't know, waterfalls, places where people can stay and enjoy the nature, I believe when we provide a good experience at start, then I believe it's easier to adapt the technology. But also, as I mentioned, I really think it's really vital to understand who is an expert in this and how to use this technology. I've seen numerous cases in which tourism board says, we've seen that and we want to adapt that. And the IT companies say, okay, we'll build it. I think it's really important to know, like you said, you had a question, will people use this? Will this be hard to adapt? So I always say, I'm an IT background. Well, this is recorded, but my industry is also have some blame here, because it's like, okay, well, let's build it. But the question is, do we need to build it? Will it be easy to use? So I think this part of critical thinking is also important. So we don't reinvent the wheel from scratch. We don't build a spaceship when no one will use it. If we have this type of approach, let's try to do this. We'll need to invest less budget. We'll be able to measure it, this effect of it, and then we can build something that people will use. I think this can apply for every business, but also in tourism as well, and consumer experience.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It seems that also Mrs. Mirela Raic has a question. Mirela?
Yes, hi. Can you just confirm if you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. This is hi everyone, a very interesting discussion, and I just wanted to contribute with an example from my experience, as Tomislav was asking about some of the older customers, and we were talking a lot about technology. So I wanted to give you an example of an American tour operator that I actually used to work for, that actually specialized in older Americans over 50. So I just want to demonstrate how this specialization can really help later innovations. So they specialized for Americans over 50 years of age, and they invested a lot into research about what motivates and drives them when they travel. So as you narrow your target audience, more you can really specialize and find your niche. So for example, they discovered that they're really driven by understanding the culture of the countries that they visit. They want to know how people actually live, what are the controversial topics in those countries, how much people earn, how does the healthcare system work, all those things. So then they developed tours that actually respond to those needs. So, for example, they had this concept of dining into people's homes. So let's say in Sarajevo, we went to this homes of people who live in what is called the Sniper Alley, people that are really affected by the war, but like a typical home of a family of 4, and they could have those discussions with people there, you know, how everything functions, who babysits their grandchildren, how the pension fund works, so things like that, and visiting each destination, discovering different controversial topics. And then the innovation didn't really stop there. So I just want to emphasize as well that innovations can be in the process itself, right? So you design a product or a service, but it doesn't stop there. You need to constantly analyze the data that you have, first gather the data. So in this particular case, it was surveys by those who attended the tours that were very extensive. And actually then constantly analyzing that data and tweaking the tours to respond to those comments. So on a weekly basis, the company has changed tiny bits in those tours to see how they respond. And actually, those innovations are basically what made that operator successful. So they designed something, it was very creative and innovative, but actually they've spent all their efforts now into tweaking that product and constantly responding. Because for example, if you have a product in a certain destination, you're visiting a certain hotel, restaurant, it might be great now. In 12 months, something changes and over a restaurant, it's not the same experience anymore. So just constantly gathering that data, analyzing it and tweaking the process that you have is also part of the innovation. So even if it's older customers, it doesn't have to be always new technology solutions. Innovation can happen in every single sense. It's just a matter of listening to that feedback and finding your specialization. So thank you. I just wanted to add that bit as well.
Mirela, I wanted to add one example similar to this one. As you said, it was not technology advanced solution, but more like gathering information, provide them properly. So the recently I heard about one project in Croatia, but that could kind of relate to something that one of our colleagues, partner companies working in Scotland, for example. What they work, they have tour operators that provide tours in Egypt. So after this pandemic lockdown started going off, a lot of tourists were saying, okay, we can go in Egypt and see some typical pyramids, Cairo and so, but they were like, okay, what we can do more? So what they decided as a marketing company developed, they said, okay, we would like to help tour operators in Scotland that they want to provide tourism offer in Egypt, provide them easy way to find what are some additional hidden gems in Egypt, because they don't have to do tour of 10 days, 4 cities, and that's it. So I was talking with one company in Croatia as well that they work with tour operators in the US, UK, Latin America, where they're a DMC company, and what they are, they're getting inquiries from tour operators in the US saying, okay, can you provide me a tour that starts in, I don't know, in Venice, and they go from Venice, Trieste, Rovinj, Istria, Plitvice Lakes, Zadar, Split, Dubrovnik, and maybe Montenegro. And they were saying they see also the need that it would be good to see how they could provide more content about the offer of North Italy and Croatia as well, so they can give those operators in the US, here is what else you can do, which is good for tour operators in the US because they, like you said, they can provide tweaked products. And also what they can do is maybe someone will stay 18, 20 days on their trip during summer rather than 15, which again gives them a new product, tweaked product, but also people can stay more, learn more about the culture, and they will spend more. So which is again challenge for them. Okay, they need more information, but how they can provide to like 200-300 operators in the US. And then the idea in the UK, in Scotland, was okay, how we can gather information, provide the information so they can build different products that they can adapt to different audience. They can still have the old ones, the regular ones, but they can add new content, new ideas, so people can be more interested in learning more about the local experience and culture.
Exactly.
Okay. So I think those are all of the questions our participants had.
Okay.
So I can think we can conclude this part of the agenda.
Okay, so far today we only had the questions from our Croatian participants. It seems like the Italians are still hangover or tired from the last night's celebration on the Azzurri's advancement to the final, and I congratulate them on that. I would like to take the opportunity and thank our second speaker, Mr. Ilyasic, on his very interesting presentation, which was full of real-life examples and best practices. It's nice to hear someone who is so engaged and enjoys so much something that he does for his living. So I'm going to wrap up today's session by giving some reflection not only on our today's session, but also on the previous two smart specialization workshops. So during this 3 workshop series, we have tried to provide our participants with a glimpse into the an expert's way of thinking and contemplating about the smart specialization concept. And to this end, we have showcased the examples of best practices that we could find. And not only today, but also in 2 previous cases, we haven't emphasized only the smart solutions that could be recognized within the digital services that are used, but we also wanted to emphasize the value of collaborative approach and the importance of adapting cooperative networks. Today we had 2 examples, one of the project that brings together different stakeholders, and on the other side we had the example of one initiative which tries to promote the development and implementation of digital solutions with the final aim of giving the destinations chance to enhance their offer, their potentials as efficiently and as easily. So that's what this project is all about. It's like Mr. Ilyasic said, we all have our hidden gems. It's about embracing this specific way of life that characterizes both shores of the Adriatic Sea and giving our fans, as Mr. Ivan said, giving them the opportunity to experience and explore this kind of life firsthand. However, only by implementing the principles of smart and green tourism, we will be able to build on this rich cultural and historic heritage and tradition that we have on both shores of the Adriatic Sea and utilize it in the decades that come. I'm sure that this won't be a problem to implement the principles of slow tourism because the Mediterranean isn't so much known for its fast pace of living. So I'm sure that we all have some valuable insights from our 3 series workshops and that it will help to shape our efforts in the future to be smart, green and sustainable. So once again, I thank you all for your participation, not just today, but also in case of our previous workshops. And I wish you to have the pleasant rest of this workday and work week. Thank you again all and see you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.